welcome back. In this lecture, we shall continue to explore mathematical induction. To warm up, let us quickly recall the principle of mathematical induction we discussed in the last lecture. Assume that we are supplied with a mathematical assertion involving n. Let us call it P of n. What was our goal? The goal is to prove that P of n is true for all positive integer n. Mathematical inductions tells you that this can be achieved in two steps, namely the basis step in which we verify that P of 1 is true, and the second step, namely the inductive step, in which we assume that the given statement is true for an arbitrary but fixed k, that is, we assume P of k is true and we prove that P of k plus 1 is true. Recall that the assumption P of k is true involved in the second step is generally referred to as inductive hypothesis. What we are proving in the second step is the conditional statement P of k implies P of k plus 1. This is just to quickly recall the principle of mathematical induction. Next, we shall explore this technique by working with more concrete examples. Again, we are asked to prove certain inequality involving positive integers. As a background work for next example, let us have this definition. For a positive integer j, the jth harmonic number denoted by h suffix j is defined as follows. Hj is equal to 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus etc. 1 by j. That is, it is sum of reciprocals of first j natural numbers. This is the definition of jth harmonic number. Having this definition in hand, let us proceed with next example. Prove that 2 power nth harmonic number, in notation h 2 power n, is greater than or equal to 1 plus n upon 2 for every n over the set n union 0, meaning for every non-negative integer. This is the inequality we are supposed to establish. Let us try to employ mathematical induction for this. The first step, the basis step, is to verify that the given assertion is true for n is equal to 0, because we want to prove the statement for all non-negative integer. Before proceeding, for the sake of simplicity, let me call the given statement as P of n. P of n is the statement that 2 power nth harmonic number is greater than or equal to 1 plus n by 2. And in the basis step, we have to prove P of 0. The 2 power 0th harmonic number, that is the first harmonic number, by definition it is 1, which is greater than or equal to 1 plus 0 by 2, and this is obtained by substituting n equal to 0 in the inequality intended to prove, and 1 greater than or equal to 1 is trivially satisfied, that is P of 0 is true. Let us proceed with the inductive step, where we have to establish the conditional statement P of k implies P of k plus 1. Assume that P of k is true. That is, we assume that the 2 power kth harmonic number denoted by h suffix 2 power k, which is by definition 1 plus 1 by 2 plus etc. plus 1 by 2 power k, is greater than or equal to 1 plus k by 2. This is the assumption, the so called inductive hypothesis. We have to prove it for k plus 1. To prove that P of k plus 1 is true, let us start with the expression for h 2 power k plus 1. By definition, this is sum of the reciprocals of first 2 power k plus 1 natural numbers, that is 1 plus 1 by 2 plus etc. plus 1 by 2 power k plus 1. Let me write some few more terms, 1 plus 1 by 2 plus etc. An intermediate term will be 1 by 2 power k. Its successor will be 1 by 2 power k plus 1, and so on. The last term is actually 1 by 2 power k plus 2 power k, that is 2 power k plus 1. Once you expand this sum in this manner, you can see that the first 2 power k terms, namely 1 plus 1 by 2 plus etc. plus 1 by 2 power k, is, let me put in parenthesis, is h2k. This is equal to h2k, the 2 power kth harmonic number, plus the remaining term, let me write explicitly, 1 by 2 power k plus 1, and so on, 1 by 2 power k plus 1. The last term, namely 1 by 2 power k plus 1, the denominator 2 power k plus 1 can be viewed as 2 power k plus 2 power k, which is 2 into 2 power k. This is to understand that there are 2 power k terms. See, after h 2 power k, the first term is 1 by 2 power k plus 1. Second term is 1 by 2 power k plus 2, and so on. Last term is 1 by 2 power k plus 2 power k, which will give you a feel that there are 2 power k terms. Now, coming to the first term, namely that harmonic number h 2 power k, and applying inductive hypothesis, we see that this is greater than or equal to 1 plus k by 2 plus the remaining terms for the time being, let me write as it is 1 by 2 power k plus 1 plus etc. plus 1 by 2 power k plus 1. In number, there are 2 power k terms. Now, see that 2 power k plus 1, the denominator, 2 power k plus 2, the denominator appearing in one term, etc., is less than or equal to 2 power k plus 1. Do you see it? Hence, the reciprocals 1 by 2 power k plus 1, 1 by 2 power k plus 2, so on, is greater than or equal to 1 by 2 power k plus 1. Using these, we get that h 2 power k plus 1 is greater than or equal to 1 plus k by 2. This follows from induction hypothesis, plus the remaining terms I am replacing by smaller quantities. So, this is 1 by 2 power k plus 1 plus 1 by 2 power k plus 1 and so on 1 by 2 power k plus 1. Note that there are 2 power k terms there. So, this is equal to 1 plus k by 2 plus 2 power k into 1 by 2 power k plus 1. This is why I ask you to view 2 power k plus 1 as 2 power k plus 2 power k. So, there are 2 power k terms and we got like this. Now, a little manipulation, namely the cancellation, will show that this is 1 plus k by 2 plus 1 by 2, right. That is 1 plus k plus 1 by 2. Wow, this is what we are intended to do. So, we got h 2 power k plus 1 is greater than or equal to 1 plus k plus 1 by 2. Assuming p of k is true, we established p of k plus 1, which finishes inductive step. Hence, by mathematical induction, let me write MI, mathematical induction, we have h 2 power n is greater than or equal to 1 plus n by 2 for every non-negative integer, that is n belonging to natural number union 0. Let me make a remark in this context based on this example. Those who are familiar with sequences and series, especially infinite series, might have noticed that harmonic series, namely the infinite sum 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus etc. plus 1 by n plus etc. This is an important series occurring in the study of infinite series. Just now you have seen that if you chop up to nth term 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus etc. plus 1 by n, that is called nth harmonic number. And you have observed that 2 power nth harmonic number is greater than or equal to 1 plus n by 2. Using this inequality, we can deduce that the harmonic series, namely 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus etc., is not convergent. In other words, that infinite series does not represent ultimately a finite number. Though the terms that you are adding is very insignificant as n becomes larger and larger, overall the sum is not a finite number. This you will learn more in convergence of series. Having said that, let me proceed with few more examples, but at this time the examples will be on divisibility relations based on positive integers or natural numbers. So, let us try to establish some divisibility result. Use mathematical induction to prove that n cube minus n is divisible by 3 for every positive integer n. Meaning, when we divide n cube minus n with 3, the remainder is 0. To put in other words, n cube minus n is a multiple of 3. This is what we are required to prove. Okay. Let us employ mathematical induction. Basis step. P of 1 is true. That is what we have to verify. In fact, we can reframe the example and say that n cube minus n is divisible by 3 for every non-negative integer, because it is trivially satisfied for n equal to 0. Nevertheless, so we have to prove P of 1 is true with the understanding that P of n is the statement n cube minus n is divisible by 3. What is P of 1? 1 cube minus 1 is divisible by 3. Is it true? Yes, because 1 cube minus 1 is 0 and 0 is a multiple of 3, or it is divisible by 3. So, we have verified the statement for n equal to 1. Let us proceed to next step, namely the inductive step. The induction hypothesis in this case is the following. Assume P of k is true, that is k cube minus k is divisible by 3, or you can say k cube minus k is equal to 3 into some d, where d is a natural number. What we are supposed to do is that we have to prove P of k plus 1 is true. Though it is routine, let me complete it. For seeing whether P of k plus 1 is true or not, what I have to see is k plus 1 the whole cube minus k plus 1, whether this is a multiple of 3, that is the question. Let us start with k plus 1 the whole cube minus k plus 1. Expanding, this is k cube plus 3k square plus 3k plus 1 minus k minus 1. that 1 and minus 1 cancels and you will get k cube plus 3k square plus 3k minus k. I have intentionally put 3k minus k, I have not simplified it. Why? Because note that what we have to prove is this left hand side is a multiple of 3, and what we have by inductive hypothesis is k cube minus k is a multiple of 3. So, let me combine that k cube and minus k which I have written as a last term together, and then the second term and third term I can take a 3 outside and I can write it as k square plus k. In fact, we can take a k also outside, but let me not do it. Now, the expression in first bracket k cube minus k is a multiple of 3 by inductive hypothesis. So, this is 3 times some d plus 3 times some natural number. This right hand side expression is again 3 times a natural number, say d plus k square plus k, which proves that k plus 1 the whole cube minus k plus 1 is a multiple of 3, establishing the truth of p of k plus 1. Thus, p of k plus 1 is true. Summing up, by mathematical induction, we are assured that p of n is true for all n from the set of natural numbers. This completes the solution for our example. Let me continue with one more example on divisibility. This time we are asked to prove that 7 power n plus 2 plus 8 power 2n plus 1 is divisible by 57 for all non-negative integer n. Note that it is required to prove for all non-negative integer. Let us employ mathematical induction here. As is practice, the statement which are required to be proved, let me call it as p of n. So, p of n is the assertion that 7 power n plus 2 plus 8 power 2n plus 1 is divisible by 57. We have to prove that p of n is true for all n in n union 0. By this time you should be familiar with the steps involved in mathematical induction. Basis step: to prove that p of 0 is true. That is, we have to prove that 7 power 0 plus 2 plus 8 power 2 into 0 plus 1 is divisible by 57. Let us first check what is 7 power 0 plus 2 plus 8 power 2 into 0 plus 1. It is 7 square plus 8. which is 49 plus 8, and it amounts to 57. Clearly 57 is divisible by 57. That is, P of 0 is true. Without much delay, let us proceed with next step, inductive step. Inductive hypothesis is that P of k is true. That is, 7 power k plus 2 plus 8 power 2k plus 1 is divisible by 57. To put in other words, 7 power k plus 2 plus 8 power 2k plus 1 is a multiple of 57. 57 into, let us say, d, where d is a non-negative integer. Having this assumption in hand, let us try to establish P of k plus 1. To establish P of k plus 1, let us start with, see the requirement, 7 power k plus 1 plus 2 plus 8 power 2 into k plus 1 plus 1. That is what the expression what we have to check is a multiple of 57 or not. 7 power k plus 1 plus 2 plus 8 power 2 into k plus 1 plus 1, which is actually 7 power k plus 3 plus 8 power 2k plus 3. Recall what we have is, by induction hypothesis, 7 power k plus 2 plus 8 power 2k plus 1 is equal to 57 into a non-negative integer. So, what the expression we have, let us try to correlate with this assumption a priori what we have. I am going to write 7 power k plus 3 as 7 into 7 power k plus 2. Why? Because I have the inductive hypothesis. Please observe what is the inductive hypothesis. Plus this I will write as 8 power 2k plus 1 into 8 square. Do you agree? Proceeding, this is 7 into 7 power k plus 2 plus 64 into 8 power 2k plus 1. Again, keep in mind that what we have is this, 7 power k plus 2 plus 8 power k plus 1 is 57 into d. Keeping that in mind, let me manipulate the RHS as follows. This is 7 into 7 power k plus 2 plus 7 into 8 power 2k plus 1. I am adding that 7 into 8 power 2k plus 1. To nullify the effect, minus 7 into 8 power 2k plus 1, and the last term I am writing as it is, 64 into 8 power 2k plus 1. I have done this with a special purpose which will be clear in the next step. This is 7 I can take outside from the first two terms. If I do that, I get this, and the third term and fourth term can be combined, and I will get that is equal to 57 times 8 power 2k plus 1. Now, what is inside the bracket along with 7 is assumed to be a multiple of 57. So, this is 7 times a multiple of 57, let me write m of 57 plus 57 into 8 power 2k plus 1. It is not hard to see that the second summand is again a multiple of 57. So, you have sum of two multiples of 57, which will be again a multiple of 57, thus establishes what is desired. That is P of k plus 1 is true. Hence, by induction, P of n is true for all non-negative integer n. Recall that here the basis step we proved P of 0 is true. Now, let me give one more example to use how mathematical induction can be used to establish certain results in set theory. It is a basic result in set theory that a set having n elements has 2 power n subsets. A set with n elements has precisely 2 power n subsets. This example requires you to prove the result for all non-negative integer n. Let us try to employ mathematical induction here. To start with, the given statement let me call as P of n. P of n is the statement that a set with n elements possesses 2 power n subsets. Having formed the statement, let us proceed with the first step, basis step, which requires to prove P of 0. Why? Because the statement is for all non-negative integer n. To prove or to verify P of 0 is true. What is P of 0? You have to consider a set with 0 element. A set with 0 element is the empty set. What are all its possible subset? Subsets are, only one subset is there, namely 5. So, there is one subset. So, 2 power 0 subset, 1 equal to 2 power 0 subsets are there. Thus, a set with 0 element has 2 power 0 subsets in number. Now, assume that P of k is true. Essentially, we are doing the second step, namely inductive step. That is, a set with k elements has 2 power k subsets. That is our assumption. And what we are supposed to prove is that a set with k plus 1 elements has 2 power k plus 1 subsets. Now, consider a set T, let me call it as T, with k plus 1 elements. If you want, you can name it as A1, A2, A3. Elements in T can be named as A1, A2, A3, so on, Ak plus 1. Now, it is not hard to see that T, the set with k plus 1 element, can be expressed as S union A, where S is a set with k elements. I repeat, a set with k plus 1 elements can be written as union of two sets, one with k element and one a singleton set. Now, let us see how subsets of T comes. Observe, for a subset X of S, you can create two subsets for T. There exist, this is a symbol for there exist, two subsets for T. Start with a set S having k elements. You consider a subset X of that set. Using this subset X, I can get two subsets for T, namely the following. One, X itself. Any subset of S is a subset of T, because T equal to S union A. Now, along with subset X of S, if you augment A, then you will get another subset of T. So, starting with every subset X of S, we can have two subsets for T, namely X itself and X union A. And the second observation is that this will precisely cover all the subsets of T. You take any subset of T, either it will be a subset of S or it will be a subset of S along with augmented element A. This lists all the possible subsets of T. So, what we have proved is a subset of T comes from subset of S in two ways, or in other words, for every subset X of S, there exist two subsets for T, and that cover all possible subsets for T. Now, while exhibiting the subset of a set with k plus 1 elements, we told that it can come only in two ways. Take any subset of S which has k elements, that will be a subset of T, or take any subset of S adjoin A, that will be another subset of T, and these are the only possibility in which subset of T can arise. To give you a feel of this, let me start with, say, T is a set with n elements, A1, A2, A3, A4. Then T can be written as S union A, where S is a set with 3 elements. For instance, let me say S is equal to A1, A3, A4, and A is an element in T which is not in S. In this case, A is equal to A2. Now, what was my claim? If you want to list every subset of T, then it is enough to list every subset of S, and then along with this subset augment A2. Let us see that. Now, what are all the possible subsets of T? Null set, T itself, set A1, set A2, set A3, set A4, set A1, A2, set A1, A3, like that 2 element set. Let me not repeat all or write it all explicitly. Then 3 element sets A1, A2, A3, A2, A3, A4 and so on. Like this, you can explicitly write all subset of T. Now, you take one by one. Take the first subset null set, which is already a subset of S. Take T. This is S, which is a subset of S, union A2. Now, third subset of T, namely set A1, is already a subset of S. Similarly, A2 is not a subset of S, but it is a subset of S, namely null set union A2. Like this, after listing all the subsets of T, you can see that it will be either a subset of S or a subset of S union A2 in this example. So, with this we can see that every subset of T can be listed by listing subsets of S first and then along with this subset augment the element A. So, thus subsets of T will arise from two subset of S in two ways. Now, since S is with k elements, we by assumption S has 2 power k subsets, and for each of these subset there arises 2 subsets for T. So, this 2 power k subsets together gives 2 into 2 power k subsets for T. Which is 2 power k plus 1 subsets for T. And as I remarked earlier, these are the only possible way in which you can construct subsets for T. Thus, if you start with a set with k plus 1 elements, we can create 2 power k plus 1 subsets for that set, proving P of k plus 1 is true. Thus, by induction, P of n is true for all n from the set n union 0. Thus, we prove a basic result from set theory. A set with n elements has precisely 2 power n subsets. There is no doubt that mathematical induction is an easy and elegant proof technique to prove certain assertion involving set of natural numbers. While doing mathematical induction, the basis step and the inductive step should be carefully done, otherwise we may end up with some erroneous results. To illustrate this with example, let me proceed with next example, where something so called proof is given to you and you should point out what is wrong with it. Of course, proof in quotes, once it is wrong we cannot call it proof. The theorem is this: for every positive integer n, summation I equal to 1 to n I, that means sum of first n natural numbers is equal to n plus half the whole square by 2. Recall, we proved the correct statement for sum of first n natural number. Here there is a false statement, but for the time being let me call it as a theorem. Now, I am trying to employ mathematical induction to establish the so called this theorem. The basis step generally, which looks very innocent, just to verify the statement for n equal to 1. So, there is a chance that sometime we overlook it and then ignore the basis step. Let me proceed with the example. Basis step, the formula is true for n equal to 1. Now, in the inductive step, I assume that it is true for n equal to k, that is sum of first k positive integer is k plus half the whole square by 2. This is the inductive hypothesis. With that inductive hypothesis in hand, we are trying to prove the result for n equal to k plus 1. We have sum of first k plus 1 positive integers in the left hand side, that I have splitted into 2, keeping induction hypothesis in hand, and the first summand I can apply inductive hypothesis and get it as k plus half the whole square by 2, and the second sum is k plus 1. Now, with the routine calculation, we get it in the following way. So, that ultimately it is k plus 1 plus half the whole square by 2, completing p of k plus 1 is true if p of k is true. So, one may jump to the conclusion that hence by mathematical induction p of n is true for all n. What is wrong with this? See that though the basis steps look very innocent, you have to carefully verify whether the basis step is true. Here, the basis step, we just wrote the formula is true for n equal to 1. See whether it is true for n equal to 1. Left hand side is summation of first one natural number. There is no sum, there is only one number. So, left hand side is 1. And right hand side, I have to prove that it is 1 plus half the whole square by 2. But 1 plus half the whole square by 2 is not 1. So, I cannot say 1 is equal to 1 plus half the whole square by 2. Hence, though it looks very innocent, you have to verify it and you are to convince that it is true. So, that is what this illustration shows. So, the solution is you are asked to point out what is wrong with this proof. The solution is p of 1 is not true. 1 is not equal to 1 plus half the whole square by 2. So, this is just to demonstrate that the basis step is so important, though it may look so innocent. Now, let me proceed with another example. What is wrong with a proof? Again, see that proof is in quotes, that all hoses are of same color. The statement is P of n, all hoses in a set of n hoses are of same color. So, this is a statement involving natural numbers. So, ideally I can use mathematical induction. Let me try to establish P of n, that is all hoses in a set of n hoses are of same color using mathematical induction. To prove that P of n is true for all n, basis step we have to see P of 1 is true. Clearly P of 1 is true because a set of hoses with one hose is of same color. Clearly P of 1 is true. Now, let us move to inductive step. Assume that P of k is true. to be explicit, what is our assumption is all the hoses in any set of k hoses are of same color. Take any set of k hoses that are of same color. This is our assumption. Now, let us try to prove P of k plus 1. Consider any k plus 1 hoses. Let us number these hoses as 1, 2, 3, etc. k to k plus 1. So, these are the k plus 1 hoses in the set. Now, you take first k of these hoses. By this assumption, these first set of k hoses have same color. Now, you take last k of the hoses, say 2, 3, etc. up to k plus 1, that set of hoses. By assumption, any set of k hoses are of same color, and hence last k of the hoses must have same color. So, the first set of k hoses have same color, last set of k hoses have same color. Now, one goes on arguing like this. Because the set of first k hoses and set of last k hoses overlap, so there is at least one element common in first k hoses and second k hoses. So, the color of first k hoses and the color of last k hoses should be same. All k plus 1 must be of same color. This shows P of k plus 1 is true. This is how one argues. Now, the question is, what is wrong with this argument? In fact, we know we cannot say any set of k hoses will have same color. The wrong with this argument is the following. Basis step is good, well, because a set with one hose has same color. Now, the mistake in the second step, inductive step, is the following. We argued that first set of k hoses have same color, last set of k hoses have same color, and these two sets overlap. But see that these two sets may not overlap always. For example, if you have only a set with two elements, first set of k elements and last set of k elements do not overlap. Okay. For instance, if you have the hoses as A1 and A2, A1 may be of one color, A2 may be of the other color. That is, the argument for inductive step, namely assuming P of k is true and deriving P of k plus 1 is true, is not correct because of the fact that we used first set of k and last set of k has one element in common. That may not be true. In fact, P of 1 implies P of 2 is false here. So, that is mistake in this proof. Through these two examples, what I want to illustrate is that it is very important to see both the basis step and the inductive step correctly, then only we can conclude certain statement about set of natural numbers is true. Otherwise, we may come up with some erroneous result as I show. Now, let me go back to a remark that I have told in the previous class, namely the following. The word mathematical induction although the word induction generally used for a process in which a conclusion is reached from some specific example, we should not confuse that mathematical induction is a form of inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning means reaching at a general statement by just examining particular cases or some instances. mathematical induction is not inductive reasoning, but it is in fact a deductive reasoning. Namely, to prove certain statement, we deduce it from some other statement which is already proved. That is what we use in mathematics. We never use inductive reasoning in mathematical proofs. So, I conclude with the statement that mathematical induction is a deductive reasoning. Of course, the validity of mathematical induction follows from what we call as well-ordered principle. This is an axiom of set of natural number. Let me not go to the details of it, but let me conclude by stating that we should not confuse mathematical induction as a form of inductive reasoning, meaning generalizing from some examples, but it is one form of deductive reasoning, and mathematical induction can be deduced from well-ordered principle. I hope you can explore this easy and elegant concept with much more examples. With that, I conclude. Thank you so much.